Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty provocative idea. What if our deepest desires for love and connection are really just sophisticated ways to escape? We're going to deconstruct the cages we build for ourselves and ask a tough question. Is true freedom something we even really want? So let's just jump right in with the big question that's going to frame this whole conversation. Are the things we're all chasing, romance, pleasure, a sense of stability, are they forms of real, genuine connection, or are they just beautifully packaged ways to run away from something deeper inside ourselves? All right, first up, let's talk about one of the most powerful human drives there is, that search for pleasure, especially through romance and intimacy. Now, we often think of this as the absolute peak of human connection, right? But what if it's also our most convenient and most powerful form of escape? And this quote, man, it gets at something really fascinating. Think about a moment of intense pleasure, like an orgasm. It's described here as this rare instance where you can just forget everything, all your worries, your identity, your problems, and in that single flash, you get a glimpse of your highest self. It's a shortcut to a profound feeling. But here's the catch, and it is a big one. The problem kicks in when this super easy, super accessible escape becomes the only thing we're chasing. Its power can be so intoxicating that it literally blinds us to everything else, other experiences, other challenges, and maybe some more difficult but ultimately more fulfilling paths in life. Now, this craving for a quick escape isn't just about pleasure. It's really the engine behind addiction itself. So let's widen the lens a little bit and see how this actually plays out. I mean, it sounds so simple, right? But this one thought completely shifts your focus. Instead of looking at the thing, the substance, or the activity, it forces us to look at the person, the individual who feels that deep need for it in the first place. It's so easy to blame the external stuff, the drug, the booze, the endless social media scroll, but the real root of the problem, it lies much, much deeper. The actual addiction is to something else entirely. And boom, there it is. This is the core idea. We use addictions to escape a feeling of inner emptiness, a void, or what's called here lifelessness. The thing we're addicted to is just a tool we use to temporarily feel alive when deep down we actually feel numb. So there's actually a word for this specific kind of ignorance, the Sanskrit term agyan. And this isn't about not knowing facts like that smoking is bad for you. We all know that. This is a much deeper ignorance. It's not knowing the true source of your own pain, not understanding the nature of that void you're trying so desperately to fill. So that begs the question, right? Where does this inner void, this lifelessness, even come from? Well, the philosopher Albert Camus had a pretty wild and surprising answer. It comes from our fear of freedom. I mean, just think about that for a second. Camus had this incredible insight that what we're often most afraid of isn't being trapped. It's the total opposite, being absolutely free. Because with total freedom comes total responsibility for our choices, for our meaning, for our lives. Suddenly there's no one and nothing else to blame. And you can see how this plays out, right? It's like a chain reaction. Step 1, freedom gets rid of all your excuses. Step 2, now you have to face the terrifying question, what do I actually want? Not knowing the answer creates confusion, which feels like total chaos. And so what do? We run back to safe, predictable routines and systems. And this is exactly how we build our own cages. We create these rigid systems, job titles, social roles, and yep, especially traditional committed relationships. They give us a pre-made path, a script to follow, so we never have to face that dizzying, terrifying question of how we truly want to live. So if so many of our traditional structures are built on a foundation of fear, what's the alternative? How are we supposed to connect with each other in a way that's authentic and free instead of just another escape? Let's explore a whole new framework for this. A really powerful metaphor can help us here to see the difference between two fundamentally different ways to approach love. It's the choice between a plastic rose and a real flower, and which one you choose says a lot. Okay, so on one hand, you've got the plastic rose. This is the kind of love we often chase. It promises it'll last forever, it's secure, it's perfect. But it's got no life, no scent, it's an illusion. Then you have the real flower. It's alive, it's beautiful and true, but it's also imperfect. And yeah, it's eventually going to wither and die. Its beauty can't be separated from the fact that it won't last forever. So the choice is really between a perfect illusion and a fragile truth. This quote from Camus just turns everything we've been told about romantic love completely on its head. The goal isn't to find someone to fix you or fill your void or cure your loneliness. That's the logic of escape, not connection. See, real, authentic love is about something totally different. It's about choosing to see someone for exactly who they are, flawed, separate, beautifully imperfect, and then choosing to stand with them as you both face the chaos and absurdity of life, together but not merged into one. So this all leads us to the final and most crucial point. What does it actually look like to live consciously in a world that is constantly pushing you toward the easy escape, the plastic rose, and the comfortable cage? True heroism, from this point of view, isn't about big, loud, public gestures. It's the quiet, daily, personal act of choosing your life consciously, of being aware, even when nobody else is watching you do it. It's choosing to steer your own ship instead of just drifting along with the current. So let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, that powerful urge to escape usually points to a deeper feeling of emptiness inside. Second, our deep-seated fear of freedom makes us build our own cages. Third, that a more authentic kind of love is possible, one that picks truth over illusion. And finally, that the real challenge, the real heroism, is the quiet daily act of choosing to live an aware and conscious life. And that's the question I really want to leave you with. If we strip away all the fantasies, the promises of forever, the whole idea that another person can complete us, what's left? Can that raw, honest, and sometimes difficult connection, can that still be the romance we've all been taught to crave? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.